Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about the difference between accessory movements and assistance exercises, because these get confused quite a bit. Now, I want to state for the record, I'm not super big on using assistance exercises. I think accessory work should take a much higher priority. Again, my personal opinion as a coach. Again, I think some assistance work is a bit overrated. But to know what we're talking about, we need to understand that these are relative to our primary lifts. So these are how they relate to the movements that we care about. And in my case, I'm a power lifter, so squat, bench, and deadlift are my primary lifts. They are what I care about in competition. They are what I care about performance on the most. So the other lifts that I do are usually geared towards improving those in some manner. So in this case, you're going to see in this video, you're going to see me doing some flat benching and you're going to see me doing deadlifts. Now, granted, these are both for rep work, so this is not the exact competition lift. A competition lift is for 1 rep max. But when we're looking at performance, we can do that. Now, I will say assistance can also be done with the primary movement at times, and that's something that throws people off a little. If you're doing a bunch of rep work on the primary exercise, that is assistance. Okay, it's probably assistance and possibly even accessory. So what's the difference here? Okay, assistance exercises are exercises that we do for a movement pattern carryover. In other words, they share a movement pattern with the primary lift. Right? There's a movement pattern carryover. They're not just for general hypertrophy. They're not just for making the muscles bigger of that exercise. And usually they're done with the idea that you're going to correct a weak point. You're going to correct a weak point. In my case, when I bench, I tend to stick right in the middle. So for me, that's a weak point. So an assistance exercise could be what you guys see me doing right here, an incline bench. All right, incline bench, again, nice with a good pause. The incline bench tends to improve performance near the middle of the bench, right? Mid-range to maybe about a fourth of the way off the chest. So that range right there, incline benching tends to be very good for improving a sticking point there, okay? Which is a very common sticking point for a lot of raw benchers. So accordingly, incline bench tends to have very, very good carryover to raw bench pressing. Raw meaning we do it without a shirt. A lot of times people will see someone lift big weights, whether it's powerlifting, strongman, and not always realize it may not be a raw lift. They may be using special suits and equipment to help them lift more weight, in some cases hundreds of pounds more. So a raw bench press, you're just wearing cloth, maybe wrist wraps and a belt. Okay, but there's nothing that's helping you slingshot additional weight up, such as a bench shirt, elbow sleeves, things like that. All right, an example of an assistance exercise for the deadlift. You saw me doing some good mornings here. All right, particularly that safety bar, good morning. All right, that puts us into a low position to where we get a good stretch. Gives us a pretty good stretch in the hamstrings. It also puts us into a deep hip hinge position. Okay, this tends to help us a little bit off the floor. All right, this helps with bar speed a little bit off the floor in terms of the movement pattern on the deadlift. Okay, look at where that point of greatest mechanical tension on a good morning is near the bottom. And then we follow through with it. Now, of course, the good morning is also a premier squat assistance exercise, but we're not going to cover that in this one. In fact, I think I probably have a video coming out right before this one discussing that, because I filmed it the day before I filmed this one, to where we go into more detail there. But the good morning is an assistance exercise. Right? It will have very, very good carryover there, particularly if that's where you stick. All right. Accessory movements. Accessory movements are there to put muscle on you. That's it. That is our only goal. And I'm not saying there can't be some parts of the range of motion with movement pattern carryover. We're not saying that certain muscles don't affect weak points, but we're not specifically doing the exercise in a way that carries over. So examples you'll see in this video: an assistance exercise or accessory exercise for the bench press, skull crusher, right? It is there to build triceps. In fact, it builds a part of the tricep a little more effectively than the bench press does. So it's a complement for tricep size, right? Combining it with the bench press actually has a potential to maximize tricep growth. Why? Because it works different parts of the tricep with a much larger emphasis. They're both exercises that put a lot of muscle on the tricep. But it's an accessory because it's there, purely for hypertrophy. And again, it's not saying certain parts of the range of motion don't have certain parts that carry over. We could argue that long head being important out of the bottom of the bench. But it's not really the point. Those are so small that they may not matter. In other words, we just want to get bigger. We are trying to make the triceps bigger. So think of accessory work as bodybuilding type work. So if you think of what a lot of people, they use the term bodybuilding to mean muscle growth, even though bodybuilding is a competitive endeavor, totally separate. But what people think of as bodybuilding type training, that's what your accessory work does. It's there just to get you bigger, get you thicker. Well, doing 10, 15 reps on a skull crusher will make your triceps bigger. It's the idea. Deadlift, what do we have as an accessory in here? The glute ham raise. Now, it's called the glute ham raise, but it's a better hamstring exercise than it is a glute one. And this is not to say it doesn't build glutes. It's just that if you look at the data we have, it is a very hamstring dominant exercise. Yes, it works the entire posterior chain. But as far as hamstring movements go, it is one of the most effective hamstring exercises ever. Incidentally, it works one of the heads of the hamstring that gets neglected on the deadlift. So it's quite a bit different of a movement pattern, but it will thicken your hamstrings up. Right? It will thicken your hamstrings up. Now, when we state all this stuff, we need to be clear. All these exercises will make you bigger. Okay? Every single exercise that I've demonstrated in this video was, a good solid full range of motion movement with at least 5 reps, including the bench and the deadlift. Those will get you bigger. They add size. The assistance exercises will still add size. Okay, everything here gets you bigger. The difference is the accessory work is exclusively to get you bigger. We're not always concerned with any sort of movement pattern carry over to the main lift. But a bigger muscle has way more strength potential. So just getting jacked in general is a real good idea if you want to be strong. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.